There is a thought so simple, so powerful, and so true that when fully embraced, it aligns a man not only with his greatest potential, but with the abundant mind of God himself. This thought is not mystical. It is not abstract. It is a truth so rooted in the order of the universe that all success, all riches, and all peace stem from it. And the thought is this: I am created to prosper by design. Let that settle. You are not here to scrape by. You are not here to beg for scraps. You are not here to hope that maybe, just maybe, you'll be spared from suffering. You are here right now because the same power that created galaxies, oceans, and breath designed you with purpose. And where there is divine purpose, there is divine provision. God has never once created a thing without the means to fulfill its function. The bird has wings, the fish has gills, and you created in his image have the mind. The mind to think, to choose, to direct, to imagine, and to receive. The only limitation, then, is not God's will, it is man's awareness. Most people have been taught the wrong relationship between God and wealth. They've been told that desiring abundance is selfish, that prosperity is worldly, that spiritual people should settle for less. And so they do. Not because it's true, but because it's comfortable. But let me tell you something that will change everything if you allow it to. Poverty is not piety. Scarcity is not spiritual. And lack is not holy. God is not glorified by your struggle to pay bills, your fear of the future, or your constant anxiety over resources. He is glorified when you multiply what He's given you, when you take your talents, your time, your energy, your mind, and you develop them, expand them, bless others through them. That is the pattern of divine prosperity. It begins with recognition. Recognition that you are not separate from the source. You are an extension of it. And as such, abundance is not something you chase. It is something you align with. So, how do you align? Through thought, the most powerful force you will ever possess. Thought is the original cause, the invisible seed that creates the visible harvest. Every condition in your life right now, your finances, your health, your relationships, is the fruit of past thought patterns. You may not want to believe that, but it is the truth. You cannot plant the seed of fear and expect the fruit of peace. You cannot water thoughts of lack and reap abundance. The mind is a spiritual mechanism. It is connected to laws that are as real, as active, and as dependable as gravity itself. And the primary law is this: as you think in your heart, so are you. Not what you wish, not what you hope, but what you truly believe at the deepest level. So if you wish to align with God's riches, you must begin with the thought that you were designed to prosper, not just spiritually, not just emotionally, but materially, financially, in every sense of the word. This does not mean wealth without effort. It does not mean luxury without labor. It means that the resources of heaven are available to those who think, act, and move in accordance with their highest purpose. And when you do that, doors open. Not by accident, but by law. But remember this: the universe does not respond to confusion. It responds to clarity. The person who says, "I want abundance," but lives in fear, speaks in lack, and acts in doubt, is not aligned. They are fragmented, and fragmentation blocks flow. But the man who wakes up and says, "I know who I am, I know what I'm here to do, and I trust the process," that man has opened the channel. He's no longer trying to force life, he's cooperating with it. That is the secret. Divine wealth flows through cooperation, not control, through surrender to right thinking, not striving in wrong beliefs. Let's get even more practical. If you believe that prosperity is your divine right, your behavior will reflect it. You will walk with posture. You will speak with clarity. You will give generously, invest wisely, and work diligently, not to prove yourself, but to participate in the process. You'll stop envying others because you'll know there's no shortage in God's economy. You'll stop hoarding because you'll trust the law of circulation. You'll stop apologizing for wanting more because you'll realize that with more you can serve more. The man aligned with abundance thinks differently, speaks differently, chooses differently. He lives not in fear of loss, but in faith of increase. And because of that, his entire world begins to shift. Opportunities appear, relationships elevate, income increases, not because of luck, but because of law. Now, I want you to reflect on something. Are your dominant thoughts moving you closer to God's provision or further from it? When you think about money, do you feel stress or peace? When you think about the future, do you feel anxiety or expectation? These feelings are the fruit of your beliefs, and beliefs can be reprogrammed. That's the beauty of the mind. You're not stuck with the thoughts you inherited. You can choose new ones today. you can begin to say to yourself, I am an instrument of divine prosperity. I am a vessel for God's increase. I think rich thoughts. I speak life. I take aligned action. These are not affirmations for the sake of hype. They are seeds, and if planted daily, repeated, visualized, and embodied, they will become the roots of a new reality. A reality where abundance is natural, expected, and received with gratitude. Understand this. You were never meant to live in fear of survival. That is not divine design. You were created to grow, to expand, to contribute, to lead, and you cannot lead from lack. You cannot contribute in your highest form while preoccupied with scarcity. That is why God's riches are not just permissible, they are necessary, not for ego but for impact. You cannot give what you do not have, so acquire, not selfishly, strategically, spiritually, intentionally. Acquire skills, knowledge, wealth, resources, relationships, so you can become a conduit of transformation. That is divine prosperity. And it begins with one thought. I am created to prosper by design. Say it until you believe it. Believe it until you see it until you live it, and live it until it becomes who you are. If we are to walk fully in alignment with the riches of God, we must first discard the mental constructs that oppose them. The world has done a thorough job of embedding a lie deep within the minds of men, that there is something noble about limitation, something righteous in suffering, something pious about lack. But these ideas are distortions. They are not rooted in divine truth. They are rooted in fear, and fear is not from God. Scripture tells us that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. A sound mind does not accept scarcity as normal. A sound mind does not resign itself to surviving. A sound mind recognizes that life is abundant, that the universe is expansive, and that we are connected to a limitless source that delights in the prosperity of his servants. When you truly internalize this, when it moves from head knowledge to heart belief, you begin to walk differently. You no longer shrink. You no longer hesitate. You take up the space God intended for you, not with arrogance, but with quiet authority. Let's take a moment and go to the root. All wealth, material, emotional, spiritual, flows from alignment with order. God is a God of order. Look at the universe. The sun rises and sets with precision. The planets move in patterns so reliable we can chart them centuries in advance. Nature multiplies by design. The oceans respect their boundaries. The seasons arrive on schedule. There is no chaos in divine design, only order, and wealth follows order. Not chaos, not confusion. When your thoughts are orderly, your life becomes fruitful. When your habits are aligned with purpose, your results become predictable. But when your mind is scattered, thinking one thing, saying another, doing something else, your energy becomes diluted, and diluted energy cannot produce divine abundance. So the first commandment of prosperity is this: bring your mind into order. Bring your thinking into harmony with the truth that you are created to thrive, not merely survive. If your thinking is the soil, then your beliefs are the roots. And just like a tree cannot grow healthy fruit from rotting roots, you cannot produce prosperity from poisoned beliefs. Most people say they want abundance, but their inner dialogue contradicts it. They say things like, I'm just trying to get by, or money doesn't grow on trees, or people like me never get ahead. These aren't just innocent phrases, they are declarations, and the subconscious mind accepts them as instruction. Remember, your subconscious does not filter truth from fiction. It only receives repetition, and what it receives repeatedly, it enacts. That's why it's so critical to audit your language. Listen to how you speak about yourself, about money, about opportunity. Every word you say reinforces or rewrites your self-image. So begin now to speak in alignment with the outcome you seek, not out of fantasy but out of faith. Say, I am open to divine provision. I attract ideas, resources, and people that elevate my mission. Wealth flows to me because I am prepared to manage it wisely. There is also a law of correspondence that cannot be ignored. Your outer world will always mirror your inner world. This is not philosophical fluff, it is observable reality. If you want to know what someone truly believes, you don't have to ask them. Just look at their life. Look at how they dress, how they walk, how they speak, how they spend their time. Your results always betray your true beliefs, and that's not something to fear, it's something to use. Because if results can reveal belief, then results can also be changed by belief. That's where your power lies, not in external control, but in internal transformation. So if you want a different harvest, you must plant different seeds. Seeds of clarity, of discipline, of expectation, of gratitude, Gratitude especially is a magnet. It signals to the universe that you are already aligned, that you're already in possession of wealth, even before it shows up in the bank account. And that posture of gratitude attracts more to be grateful for. You must also understand that God's riches are not limited to dollars and possessions. They include peace, wisdom, health, time, love, and influence. True wealth is holistic. It touches every area of life. There are many who have material wealth but live in poverty of mind, driven by anxiety, haunted by insecurity, empty despite their possessions. That is not abundance. That is excess without foundation. But when you are truly rich in spirit and in truth, your prosperity becomes stable, enduring, satisfying, because it flows from within. You don't need to grasp or chase, you simply receive, because you've become a vessel large enough to contain the blessing. And that capacity is not built through hustle, it is built through discipline, through alignment, through thought, through faith. It's built in the quiet hours, in the way you think when no one is watching, and that internal environment becomes the womb of your external reality. Let me speak now to the idea of worthiness. So many block their own prosperity because they don't believe they deserve it. They carry shame, guilt, or unworthiness from past mistakes. But let me be clear, God is not withholding abundance as punishment. You are not disqualified from prosperity because of who you were. You are qualified because of who you're becoming. The moment you shift your identity, your destiny begins to shift with it. You are not your past. You are your potential, and your potential is unlimited when aligned with divine truth. So release the need to earn your worth. You already have it. It was given when you were created. Your job now is to steward it, to honor it, to multiply it. And as you do, you will find that the blessings you once chased begin to chase you. Not because you forced them, but because you finally believed you were worthy of receiving them. Another key to alignment is clarity of purpose. The person who does not know why they want abundance will misuse it when it comes. Purpose is the filter that keeps your prosperity pure. Without it, money becomes a distraction. With it, money becomes a tool. That's why those aligned with God's riches always have vision. They know where they're going. They know what they're building. They know who they're called to serve. And because of that clarity, the resources come, doors open, mentors appear, ideas ignite. Not because they were lucky, but because they were ready. And readiness is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of alignment, a matter of having your heart, your habits, and your environment all pointing in the same direction. When that happens, wealth doesn't just come, it multiplies, it flows, it finds you. So let's anchor this part of the message with a simple challenge. Choose one thought today that aligns you with abundance. Just one. Write it down, repeat it, live by it. Let it become the foundation upon which new beliefs can form. And if that thought is, I am created to prosper by divine design, then hold it like a compass. Let it direct your decisions. Let it guide your speech. Let it elevate your posture. Because when one thought is held consistently, it becomes a belief. That belief becomes a lens. That lens shapes your perception. And your perception determines your results. So if you hold the right thought long enough, the world around you will begin to change in its image. This is not theory. This is law. Use it. There comes a time in every seeker's journey when they must stop asking for signs and start embodying truth. That time is now. You've heard the words, you felt the pull, and somewhere deep within you, you already know this is not just another idea, it's the idea, the one that could shift your life forever. The thought that you were created to prosper is not merely motivational, it's foundational. It is the spiritual cornerstone upon which you begin to reconstruct your identity. And when identity changes, everything else must follow. The problem is never in the availability of abundance. It is always in our ability to receive it. And you cannot receive what you do not believe you're allowed to have. You cannot walk through a door you do not believe you're worthy of entering. That is why the shift must begin within. Before the wealth, before the opportunities, before the transformation, there must be alignment in belief. Not shallow belief, but bone-deep conviction that you are, by divine design, an extension of abundance itself. Look around at creation. The sky does not apologize for its vastness. The ocean does not limit its depth. The stars do not dim themselves for fear of shining too brightly. They exist fully, expressively, in complete accordance with their design. And yet the human being, the one creature created in the image of God, often shrinks. We shrink our goals, our expectations, our expression, all to remain acceptable to those who fear expansion. But the individual who aligns with divine riches does the opposite. They expand boldly, not to dominate others, but to reflect the fullness of what they were made to be. Your expansion is not a threat to others. It is a permission slip. a silent invitation for those around you to rise, to live fully, to prosper, not in pretense but in purpose. Because when one person aligns with abundance, they become a living example of what's possible. Let's speak now about fear. Fear is the great divider. It separates the wealthy from the worried, the fulfilled from the frustrated, the aligned from the distracted. Fear is not merely an emotion. It is a belief in limitation. It says there is not enough. It says I cannot handle more. It says if I rise, something must fall. And all of these beliefs are false, rooted not in God but in conditioning, in programming passed down through generations, institutions and media that thrive on scarcity. But when you begin to think the thought, I was created to prosper, you disrupt that program. You install a new one rooted in divine law, not man-made limitation. And once installed, that new belief begins to remove fear, not overnight, but steadily. You begin to see that every fear was a lie, that every limitation was self-imposed, and that the riches of God were never withheld, they were simply unclaimed. The one who is truly aligned with prosperity does not chase money, they attract it. Not by sitting idle, but by becoming magnetic through purpose and clarity. Think of the sun. It does not chase the planets. It simply burns brilliantly and consistently, and everything in its orbit responds. So too with you. When you burn with conviction, when you radiate clarity, when your daily behavior reflects your highest self, opportunities cannot help but gravitate toward you. That is the law. That is alignment. But most people dim their fire, they doubt their worth, they delay their action, and so life treats them accordingly. But the man who wakes up with vision, who moves with precision, who speaks with intention, that man is rare. And because he is rare, he becomes valuable. Because he is valuable, he becomes wealthy, not just in finances, but in freedom, in impact, in legacy. And all of it began with one thought: I was created to prosper. Now let me challenge you. What are the habits, beliefs, and behaviors in your life that contradict the thought? What routines keep you in lack? What relationships drain your focus? What environments lower your standard? These are not small questions. These are the questions. Because alignment is not passive, it is deliberate. You must actively prune what does not match your vision. That includes outdated mindsets. That includes compromise. That includes habits that waste your energy and time. Prosperity requires room to grow, and room is only created through removal. You must remove the excuses, the indulgences, the misalignments, so that what is right can take root. God's riches cannot flow into a life filled with contradiction, not because He withholds, but because the channel is blocked. You unblock it by choosing truth over comfort, discipline over ease, expansion over fear. That's how you know you're aligning. Let's talk about giving. This is one of the highest indicators of alignment. Those who are afraid of lack hoard, they protect pennies and lose purpose. But those who know they are connected to abundance give freely. They give time, energy, resources, ideas, not to earn, but to express. Giving is not subtraction, it is multiplication. It is the act of declaring there is more where this came from. And that declaration creates flow. A life that gives is a life that grows. Not just in bank statements, but in peace, in joy, in impact. The most prosperous people are not the stingiest, they are the most generous, because they understand that you cannot outgive the source, that every seed planted with the right intention returns multiplied. So if you want to align with God's riches, begin giving, not recklessly but joyfully, strategically. From a place of overflow, even if the overflow starts small, start where you are. That is the signal that tells the universe, I am ready for more. I want you to pause and reflect now. Where are you still thinking small? Where are you waiting when you should be moving? Where are you asking for what you already possess the power to create? These moments of honesty are where the transformation begins, because clarity creates urgency. Once you know, you can no longer pretend. Once you see, you can no longer unsee. You are responsible now, and that is not a burden, it is a privilege. To be responsible is to be powerful, to say I shape my life in alignment with truth. That is the highest calling. That is divine stewardship. And the result of stewardship is always increase, always expansion, always multiplication. God does not reward the passive. He rewards the faithful, the focused, the disciplined, the bold. And that reward is not just for your benefit, it is so you may bless others, lead others, and become the example that proves what is possible. So let me leave you with this. The thought that aligns you with God's riches is not a wish, it is a decision. To live as if it is already true, to think as if it cannot fail, to move as if the outcome is guaranteed. Because in truth, it is. The promise is not for the perfect, it is for the aligned. And alignment is not mystery, it is mastery. Mastery over your thoughts, over your speech, over your habits, over your identity. You are not here to struggle forever. You are not here to scrape by. You are here to rise, to expand, to multiply, to become. And all of that becomes possible the moment you embrace the one thought that changes everything. I am created to prosper by divine design. Speak it, believe it, embody it, and then watch what happens. There is a principle that must be deeply understood if you are to truly walk in the flow of divine wealth, and it is this. God does not give riches to people who merely ask. He gives them to people who are ready. Readiness is not a feeling, it is not hope, it is not desperation disguised as prayer. Readiness is demonstrated by structure. When your life has the mental, emotional, and spiritual infrastructure to support wealth, then and only then will wealth arrive. This is not punishment, it is protection. God's blessings are not meant to crush you, they are meant to elevate you. But if your habits, beliefs, or identity are out of alignment with abundance, then receiving it prematurely would not be a blessing, it would be a burden. So if you've been asking for more, stop and ask yourself this. Have I built the foundation to receive it? Is my house in order? Because divine riches are not random. They are placed where they can multiply, not where they will be squandered. And if you are serious about wealth, you must first become a person worthy of managing it. We must move beyond the surface level idea of believing in abundance and step into the practical embodiment of it. This means tracking your time, auditing your language, managing your environment, and most of all, mastering your attention. The person who is aligned with God's riches is not scattered. They are not easily distracted. They are not pulled in 100 directions. They are focused. They have learned that attention is the currency of creation. Whatever you give your attention to, you give life to. And if your attention is divided, your results will be diluted. But when your attention is directed daily, consistently, intentionally toward growth, toward stewardship, toward excellence, you will begin to see increase. It is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of focus. Where your attention goes, your energy flows, and where energy flows, outcomes grow. If you want greater outcomes, begin by guarding your attention like treasure. Another mark of divine alignment is decision. Most people wait for clarity before making decisions, but the truth is, clarity comes after decision, not before. This is why the wealthy think differently than the average. They decide quickly and act boldly, not recklessly but decisively. They understand that hesitation is the silent killer of destiny. While others are overthinking, overplanning, and overtalking, they move, they initiate, they take responsibility. And in doing so, they become the kind of person who attracts provision. Provision does not chase indecision. It flows toward conviction. And conviction is born from deep internal alignment. The person who says, "This is who I am, this is where I'm going, this is how I move," becomes a magnet for divine instruction, supernatural favor, and material wealth. So if you want to align with God's riches, stop delaying. Stop waiting for permission. Decide who you are. Decide what you will no longer tolerate. Decide what you will build, and then move. Let me share a deeper law with you. Wealth is not pursued, it is revealed. It already exists. It's already been created. Every idea, every opportunity, every relationship that could elevate your life is already present. But most people are blind to it. Not because God is hiding it, but because they have not trained themselves to see. And the way you train your perception is through gratitude. Gratitude is not just a good attitude, it is a frequency. It tunes your mind to see what you already have, and in doing so prepares you to receive more. The ungrateful mind cannot perceive opportunity. It only sees lack. It only sees what's missing. But the grateful mind is always in motion, always multiplying, always attracting. So if you want to open your eyes to the wealth already around you, begin with thankfulness. Thankfulness for life, for health, for lessons, for potential. Gratitude is the door through which divine riches walk in. Now let's address an illusion that blocks many from ever receiving the fullness of abundance. The myth of striving. You were not created to strive endlessly. You were not built to grind until you collapse. That is not divine design, that is cultural dysfunction. God's model is not grind, it is growth. And growth happens when you are in rhythm with truth, when your thoughts align with your values, when your effort aligns with your calling, when your actions align with your assignment. You do not have to sacrifice your peace to achieve prosperity. You simply need to release the belief that success must be hard in order to be real. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to trust that flow is more powerful than force. The richest people on earth, rich in soul and mind and finance, are not those who do the most. They are those who do the right things at the right time with the right energy. That is divine alignment. That is effortless excellence. Another truth you must embrace is that every moment is a test of alignment. Every decision is a vote for your future self. When you say yes to laziness, you vote against your calling. When you say yes to gossip, you vote against leadership. When you say yes to cheap pleasure, you vote against legacy. But when you say yes to discipline, to clarity, to purpose, you align yourself with increase. God's riches are not earned, they are revealed. And they are revealed when your character is ready. So stop asking, how do I get more? And start asking, who must I become? Because when you become the person who can handle more, the more will come, and it will not feel like luck. It will feel like confirmation, because deep down you will know you built this, you prepared for this, you aligned with this, and because of that, it came to you. Let's take it even further. There is a difference between material wealth and spiritual authority. Material wealth can come and go, but spiritual authority, once earned, cannot be taken, and the highest level of abundance is to walk in both, to have resource in your hands and power in your spirit. That kind of individual changes rooms. They don't just possess wealth, they command it. They move in silence, but their impact echoes. They lead not with noise, but with certainty, and people follow, not because they're impressed, but because they're inspired. That kind of influence cannot be manufactured. It can only be built through consistency, through private victories, through integrity when no one's watching, through alignment when it's inconvenient. And when that level of character is built, God entrusts you with more, not just for you, but for the kingdom, for the community, for the legacy you're meant to leave. So I ask you now, are you ready? Not just ready to receive, but ready to manage, to multiply, to lead. Are you ready to become the vessel through which divine wealth flows into the world? If the answer is yes, then the work begins within. It begins with thought, with decision, with structure, with discipline. It begins with alignment. And as you walk in that alignment, you will begin to see that all the things you once chased now begin to chase you. Not because you forced them, but because you became the kind of person who no longer needs to chase. You attract because you've aligned. You receive because you're ready. You prosper because that is what you were created to do. Let us now turn inward, because this is where the shift truly happens. To align with the riches of God is to first align your self-concept with His intention for you. And His intention was never confusion, lack, fear, or mediocrity. His intention was dominion, mastery, creative power. His word says you were made in His image, and that is not metaphor, it is blueprint. And what does it mean to carry His image? It means you were designed with the same raw power to think, speak, and create. The same divine logic that formed galaxies lives in your mind. The same authority that spoke light into darkness now resides in your voice. The same creative intelligence that designed oceans, trees, and atoms breathes in your imagination. This is why your thoughts matter, why your words carry weight, why your life bends to the shape of your beliefs. Because you were made not to react to the world, but to shape it. The power you've been waiting for has been waiting on you. It is not dormant, it is misaligned. And alignment begins the moment you stop identifying as a beggar of blessings and start walking as a rightful heir. There is a sacred law that governs abundance, and it is this: you cannot receive what you are not prepared to steward. Most people ask for more, but they cannot yet manage what they have. They pray for opportunity, but misuse their time. They hope for wealth, but disrespect their resources. They want to lead, but refuse to be led. And so they live in cycles of delay. Not because God is withholding, but because they are not yet aligned. To break this cycle, you must become radically responsible for what you already possess. Your time, your thoughts, your body, your energy, your commitments. Excellence is not something you wait to express. It is something you bring into everything you touch right now. When you wash the dishes, write an email, prepare a meal, or speak to someone. Bring your highest standard. Because the person who carries divine wealth is never sloppy, never passive, never indifferent. They understand that how you do one thing is how you do everything. And the moment you raise the standard for the small things, the big things begin to show up. I want to speak to you now about your vision. You will never rise higher than the picture you hold of yourself. You may temporarily succeed, you may stumble into results, but if your self-image remains rooted in fear, guilt, or doubt, you will eventually sabotage the very blessings you prayed for. That is why internal vision must come before external provision. You must see yourself as worthy, as powerful, as chosen, not in arrogance, but in alignment. Alignment with how God already sees you. And how does He see you? As capable, as equipped, as a co-creator in the unfolding of His will. Your vision of yourself must be elevated daily. You must rehearse it, write it, speak it, meditate on it. Because when you consistently impress that image upon your subconscious mind, your behavior begins to align. And when behavior aligns, results follow. You cannot outperform your self-concept, but you can always upgrade it. And that upgrade starts today. Let's get practical again. One of the quickest ways to come into alignment with God's riches is to stop treating your life as random. Begin to move as if everything matters. Begin to structure your days with clarity. Begin to plan, to track, to write things down. Prosperity is not attracted to chaos. It is attracted to order, and order is your responsibility. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a clear one, a simple one that honors your highest priorities. Stop waking up reacting. Start rising with intention. Begin each morning with a declaration: I align with divine order today. I move with purpose. I act with integrity. I prosper by design. Let your day be a reflection of your future, not your fears, because the future is not created by hope. It is created by patterns, and the person who masters their patterns becomes a magnet for provision. Another vital principle: alignment requires isolation. Not forever, not from love or connection, but from noise, from distraction, from the low-frequency pull of the average. You cannot rise if you are constantly surrounded by people who doubt, complain, or delay. You cannot align with divine purpose while immersed in environments that normalize chaos. There will be a season, and perhaps this is that season, where you must pull away, not to withdraw, but to rebuild, to clarify, to reset your frequency. Jesus Himself retreated often to be with the Father. Moses climbed alone to receive instruction. Every prophet, every leader, every visionary goes through a season of divine isolation. And it is there in the silence that alignment deepens, that clarity emerges, that identity is forged. So if you feel called to step back, do not resist. Do not fear loneliness. Use it. Fill that space with truth, with vision, with structure. And when the time comes, re-emerge with power. Let's go even deeper. To align with God's riches is not just to receive wealth. It is to become wealth. To become a walking, breathing vessel of overflow. Someone whose words carry power, whose presence calms storms, whose decisions ripple through generations. That kind of wealth cannot be faked. It cannot be bought. It can only be built through discipline, through devotion, through a life that is no longer ruled by emotion, but governed by principle. Principle is the currency of the kingdom. And when you begin to live by principle, not pressure, not feelings, you become untouchable. Circumstances no longer shake you. Delays no longer deter you. You begin to move like someone who knows who sent them, because you do. You were sent. Not to survive, but to multiply. Not to shrink, but to lead. In the moment you accept that mission, truly accept it, everything changes. Now let me say this plainly. You must stop waiting for signs. You must stop asking the world to confirm what your spirit already knows. This is your sign. This is your confirmation. The very fact that you are here, hearing these words, is evidence that the time is now, not next week, not after one more excuse. Now. And all that's required is the decision to begin. Not to figure it all out, not to become perfect overnight, but to begin, to write the vision, to organize your day, to speak with clarity, to give with purpose, to think like a vessel of divine provision. And when you do this consistently, quietly, faithfully, alignment becomes automatic. The people change, the income shifts, the energy rises, and what once felt impossible now becomes inevitable. The moment a person truly believes they are designed to prosper, everything changes, not just their mindset, but their movement. You begin to walk into rooms differently, not with entitlement, but with expectancy, not with arrogance, but with assurance. Because you've made peace with the truth that abundance is your inheritance. And when you've claimed your inheritance, you no longer compete for what already belongs to you. That's the real shift, when you stop striving and start stewarding. The world will tell you to chase success, to hustle endlessly. But divine alignment works differently. In the kingdom, we don't chase, we attract. We don't beg, we declare. We don't stress, we steward. And stewardship begins the moment you recognize what's already in your hand. Your gifts, your time, your attention, your platform. These are not random. They are keys. Keys to open doors that match the level of your responsibility. God's riches don't flow to the talented, they flow to the trusted. And the more you can be trusted with, the more will be added to you. That is law. That is alignment. You must understand this next principle deeply. Nothing in your life will change until your internal reference point changes. That reference point is your unconscious ceiling, the limit you've accepted about what's possible for you. And most people don't realize they're living inside a self-imposed cage. It's invisible, silent, built from years of subtle programming. What you saw growing up, what others expected of you, what past failures taught you to fear. But here's the truth. That ceiling is not real. It's just a story, and stories can be rewritten. The moment you say, I refuse to live under this old agreement, you create a new reference point, a new standard, a new identity. And once that identity shifts, your decisions shift with it. You stop settling. You stop explaining. You stop negotiating with the old version of yourself. You begin to act as the person who already lives at the next level, not someday, now. Because when you change your internal reference point, your entire life is forced to reorganize itself in alignment with that decision. Let's talk about acceleration. Once alignment is in place, acceleration becomes effortless. Most people are trying to speed up without first aligning. They want breakthroughs without belief. They want success without identity. And so they burn out. But when you are aligned mentally, spiritually, emotionally, progress becomes exponential. You begin to experience divine timing. Doors open before you knock. The right people appear without searching. Opportunities find you while you're focused on service. This is not luck, it's resonance. You've tuned your frequency to match abundance, and now you're a magnet for everything that matches your new identity. That's the kind of growth that can't be explained by logic alone. It's not a result of effort, it's a result of embodiment, and embodiment happens when you don't just think abundance, you live it, you carry it, you transmit it. Not just when you're winning, but always. That's when the world takes notice. That's when alignment becomes unstoppable momentum. But here's the challenge most won't tell you. With new levels come new tests. When you step into alignment, the world will test your resolve. You'll be tempted to shrink, to justify old habits, to return to comfort, not because you're weak, but because your old self is still fighting to survive. But if you've truly decided to align with divine riches, you must expect resistance. Resistance is not the enemy. It is proof that you're on the right path. It is the tension that strengthens your identity. So do not run from it. Welcome it. Use it. Let it refine you. Let it clarify what you will no longer tolerate. Let it harden your focus. Because on the other side of resistance is reward, not just in what you receive, but in who you become. The strongest, most magnetic version of you will be born not in ease, but in the fire of unwavering decision. Let's go now to your daily structure. This is where alignment becomes real. You can have all the vision in the world, but if your calendar is chaotic, your results will be too. Divine riches are attracted to prepared vessels. That means systems. That means habits. That means rituals. Your future is not hidden, it's scheduled. Show me your morning and I'll show you your momentum. Show me your night and I'll show you your peace. If you want to be trusted with more, manage what you have with precision. That includes your time, your thoughts, your space, your conversations. Every part of your life must speak the same language. Excellence. That is alignment. When what you believe is reflected in what you do. When your values are visible in your habits. When your schedule becomes a prophecy of your destiny. That is the day your breakthrough becomes inevitable. Not a matter of hope, but a matter of order. Let me give you another truth. Your alignment will make others uncomfortable. And that is not your problem to solve. The more you rise, the more you will expose the places where others are playing small. You will become a mirror. And not everyone wants to see clearly. Some will resent your clarity. Others will criticize your pace. But the one who is aligned with God's riches understands that approval is not the goal. Obedience is. You were not sent to fit in. You were sent to build, to expand, to reflect the abundance of the source that created you. And to do that, you must be willing to walk alone, to stand tall, and to keep moving even when misunderstood. Because the reward is not in being liked, it is in being aligned. And alignment will always attract what is meant, while repelling what no longer belongs. Let it. You must also master your emotional state. Emotions are powerful indicators, but they are not reliable navigators. The individual aligned with divine wealth does not make decisions based on mood. They move from conviction, from structure, from vision. You must learn to rise above your emotions and become grounded in principle. That means showing up when you don't feel like it. That means speaking life when you want to complain. That means giving when fear says to withhold. This level of emotional mastery is rare, but it is required because your future depends not on how you feel, but on what you do in spite of how you feel. And when your emotions are anchored by purpose, when your reactions are governed by values, you become immovable, unshaken, the kind of person God can trust with greater and greater territory. That is the real wealth, not just in the bank account, but in the character it takes to sustain it. So let's end this part with clarity. You are no longer a student of prosperity, you are a steward of it. That means the classroom phase is over. It is time to act, to execute, to remove every contradiction between your identity and your habits, to carry yourself like someone who has already received, to speak as if it's already done, to give like someone who lives in overflow, because in truth you already do. God's riches are not coming, they are already present, waiting for you to rise to the level of your assignment. And as you do, you'll see that the gates were never locked, the path was never blocked, you were never denied, only delayed, and the delay ends now. There is a shift that occurs when you stop trying to manifest abundance and start embodying it. And that shift doesn't happen in the external world first. It happens in the way you think, the way you feel, the way you speak when no one's listening. Alignment with God's riches is not about outward declarations, it is about inward dominion. It is about reaching a place where lack is no longer a part of your mental vocabulary, where doubt no longer finds a home in your body, and where fear has no voice in your decision-making. That is not arrogance, that is spiritual maturity. That is the quiet confidence of someone who knows who they are and whose they are. You were not meant to live in reaction to the economy, to people's opinions, or to external validation. You were meant to live in response to divine instruction. And when that becomes your compass, you stop getting lost. You stop wasting years trying to force open doors that were never yours. You start walking in rhythm, in peace, in power. Because alignment is not loud, it is steady, it is stable. It is the soil where every promise of God takes root and bears fruit. Let us now go deeper into your relationship with money, not as a substance, but as a reflection. Money is not the root of all evil. It is a magnifier. It simply amplifies what already exists within you. If you are fearful, it will expose it. If you are abundant, it will multiply it. This is why some people receive wealth and self-destruct, because their internal structure was never prepared to sustain what their hands received. And this is why divine alignment is always more important than temporary increase. You don't want fleeting riches, you want sustainable abundance. Abundance that blesses generations. Abundance that flows through you without taking over you. Abundance that reflects the discipline, wisdom, and integrity that you've cultivated in private. That's what alignment does. It makes you the kind of person who can carry wealth without being carried away by it, who can receive increase without losing their soul, because the goal is not just more, it is more with meaning. Now let's speak on territory. In divine economics, territory is not just physical, it is mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual. And God expands your territory in direct proportion to your willingness to be stretched. Every season of discomfort, every moment of delay, every test of discipline is not punishment, it is preparation. It is proof that you are being entrusted with more, because to expand your external life, God must first expand your internal capacity. So if it feels like you're being stretched, like the old identity no longer fits, like the old habits no longer work, that is a sign you are outgrowing who you used to be. And that is the greatest confirmation that you are aligning with abundance. Do not resist the stretch, lean into it. Let it sharpen your vision, strengthen your character, and deepen your humility. Because when your internal container grows, so does your external overflow. Alignment also requires refinement. You cannot bring old thinking into a new level of blessing. You cannot carry scarcity mindsets into spaces built for multiplication. You must be willing to confront and replace every belief that no longer serves your divine destiny. And the most effective way to do that is through repetition. Repetition is the language of the subconscious. The thoughts you repeat become the beliefs you live by, and the beliefs you live by become the life you experience. So speak life daily, declare truth hourly, program your mind intentionally, not once, not occasionally, but continually. Say aloud, I am divinely aligned with increase. I attract wisdom. I multiply value. I am a faithful steward of all that flows to me. These are not just affirmations, they are spiritual commands, and when spoken with belief, they begin to rewrite the patterns that kept you stuck. They build the mental grooves through which divine riches begin to flow effortlessly. Let me speak now to your posture. The world responds not to how much you want, but to how much you expect. Expectation is a spiritual law. When you expect lack, you unconsciously sabotage opportunities. When you expect abundance, you prepare for it. You make room for it. You act in alignment with it. You invest with it. You speak from it. Expectation is not wishing. It is inner knowing. The person who expects divine provision doesn't panic in slow seasons. They don't beg. They don't hustle with fear. They move calmly, strategically, consistently, because they understand that wealth is not seasonal. It is systemic. It flows not because of emotion, but because of alignment. So check your posture. Do you expect increase, or do you brace for lack? Your answer will determine your experience, because the world does not give you what you ask for. It gives you what you believe you are ready to receive. Let's not forget generosity. You cannot speak of divine riches without speaking of divine circulation. What flows to you is designed to flow through you. Giving is not subtraction, it is expansion. It trains your mind to release the grip of scarcity. It rewires your nervous system to recognize overflow. And it places you in the divine flow of circulation, where value is exchanged, multiplied, and returned. The most aligned individuals give intentionally. They give joyfully. They give without strings, not to manipulate results, but to participate in a greater rhythm, a rhythm that has governed the universe since the beginning. Seed, time, harvest, input, process, output, thought, word, action. That is the cycle. That is the code. And when you give with faith, you enter the current of that cycle. And once you're in it, you never have to chase again. The blessings begin to find you because you've become the kind of person they trust. And here's what alignment ultimately produces: peace. Not passivity, not complacency, but unshakable peace. A peace that says, I know who I am, I know where I'm going, and I know what's mine. This peace is not loud, it is not showy, it does not need to prove itself. It simply exists. It radiates, and it attracts. The most magnetic people in any room are not the ones who shout the loudest. They are the ones who are fully at home within themselves. That is the fruit of alignment. You become a sanctuary of certainty in a world addicted to chaos. You become a reminder of what's possible. You become the evidence, and people won't always understand you, but they will feel you. They will sense the presence of someone who has done the inner work, who has aligned with something greater, who no longer seeks to get, but to give, to grow, to guide. That is abundance, and that is who you were always meant to be.